అందరికీ నమస్కారములు. శుభోదయం. గురుభ్యో నమః. Today we are going to have another lecture on Upanishads by Dr. CSR Prabhu garu. We will start this session paying our respects to our country by reciting Vande Mataram by Chala Chittibabu garu. Let us request him to recite, please. Unmute చేసుకోవాలన్నమాట.
वंदे मातरम वंदे मातरम सुजलां सुफलां मलयज शीतलां सस्यश्यामलां मातरं वंदे मातरम शुभ्रज्योत्स्ना पुलकितयामिनीं पुल्लकुसुमिता द्रुमदलशोभिनीं सुहासिनीं सुमधुरभाषिणीं सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरम् वंदे मातरम.
వందే మాతరం. ధన్యవాదములండి చాలా చిట్టిబాబు గారు. Let us request Srihari garu to chant Prarthana, please.
ధ్యానం. Three times ఓంకారం. ఓం गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपवश्रवस्तवं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः. ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवति दीनामवित्र्यवतु. ॐ श्री महासरस्वत्यै नमः. गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे गुरुनैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे. न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरो मां पाहि गुरो. ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे. श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्. शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः. ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय। ओम शांति शांति शांति। मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्य देवो भव अतिथि देवो भव। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। जय श्री
గురుభ్యో నమః. ధన్యవాదాలండి శ్రీహరి గారు.
धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much. Now let us request our Guruji CSR Prabhu garu to start the webinar, please.
Yes, Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsarshibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvopaplavrahita Prajnanagana Pratyagardho Sohamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Well, friends, today we will continue the Veda Samskruti Upanishad with its fourth chapter, 15th mantra onwards. The 14th verse, Saeva Kalo Bhuvanasya Gopta Vishwadhipa Sarvabhuteshu Gudha Yasmin Yukta Brahmarshiyo Devata Cha Tamevam Jnatva Mrityupasham. So the idea is Jiva, we are all Jivas, Jivatmas, and there is a Paramatma, which is the Supreme Being, Brahman, Parabrahman, Paramatma is all one and the same. That is Om. So by knowing which, you will be transcending the bonds of death. That's what it means. Now, who is that knowing which what? Knowing which? Knowing Saeva Kalaha, time. So as you know, in time everything disappears. So in the 11th chapter in Bhagavad Gita also he said, Kalosmi, I am time. Lokakshayakrit pravruddho lokan samahartamiva pravruttaha. So in time everything is absorbed. So he is Kalaswarupa. He means God, Ishvara, Bhagavan. Saeva Kalaha Bhuvanasya Gopta Vishwadhipaha, the Lord of the universe. Sarvabhuteshu Gudhaha, who is present inherently, secretly in all beings. So where is God? The question arises. In Hindu Veladandulvedanu Sandehamu Valadu Chakri Sarvopagatundu. The word Vishnu itself means he is there everywhere. How is it possible? Because if you ask where is gold in gold ornament is everywhere in gold. Gold is there in everywhere in the ornament. Where is gold in hundreds of ornaments? Gold is there everywhere, spread. Where is ghee in the milk? Where is ghee in the curd? It is spread everywhere. So this universe, which is appearing as multifarious, is spread with Narayana. Yachakinchit Jagat Sarvam Drishyate Sruyate Pivantarbahischa Tat Sarvam Vyapya Narayana Sthitaha. He is established, he is right now there. Indu Galadandulvedanu Sandehamu Valadu Chakri Sarvopagatунడు. He is there everywhere. ఎందెందు వెదకి చూచిన అందందే గలడు దాని ఆగ్రహం. In the case of Prahlada, this is the answer Prahlada gave. Sarvabhuteshu Gudha Vishwadhipaha Bhuvanasya Gopta Kalaswarupaha Yasmin Yukta Brahmarshayo Devatascha Tamedam Jnatva Mrityuposhat Mrityupashat Chinant. So, in whom all the devas. Now the question arises, what about the nature? Because basically there are three things. One is myself, that is Jivatma. The other is Ishvara or Paramatma. These two are very clear. In between is Prakriti, that is Jagat. Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. This is Triputi. So everything is in this Triputi. The entire field of religion, philosophy, Tattva Jnana is based on Triputi. Jiva, Ishvara and Jagat. We know these three exist. Of course, Ishvara some people may not accept because they will say Ishvara does not exist. Even if you say Ishvara does not exist, then you have to accept Jiva and Jagat. So what is the relationship between the two, man and nature? In Sankhya, this was addressed. So our problems are all coming from nature or our conjunction with nature. So Asangoyam Purushaha, in Sankhya Darshana, he proves at the end that this man or Jiva or Purusha consciousness is not really touched with or not really amalgamated with nature. Prakriti hai, so Swami used to say. So all problems in the world are part and parcel of Prakriti and they are bound to be there. Trigunatmika, Devi, Yesha, Gunamayi, Mama Maya, Durachaya. So the Trigunas and Karma and Samskara. So these three things, they will give you problems. They will also give you pleasures. Pleasures and pains, both Sukha Dukkha, Kavadi Kundal. Both pleasures and pains will be coming up and down alternatively. That is part of nature. You can see in your life also. I have seen in my life. You have gone through two opposites, pleasures and pains, and Trigunas and Shadvikaras. What are Shadvikaras? Birth, growth, maturity, weakness, decay, and death. So everything in this world has to go through the Shadvikaras. So Prakriti is defined in the Bhagavad Gita as the Vikaranscha Gunanscha Vidhi Prakriti Sambhava. The Vikaras and Gunas both are born out of Prakriti. Karya Karana Kartatve Hetu Prakriti Uchyate. So causes, causation, effect, Karya Karana, Hetu, that is ownership, Kartrutva. All these are part of Prakriti. Purusha Sukhadukhanam Bhoktritve Hetu Uchyate. Purusha, feeler, enjoyer, thinker, self is only Bhokta, that means simply enjoy. The results good or bad, suffer or enjoy. The point I'm trying to make is in this Jagat or in this Prakriti, in this universe, there are many Devas. Devas means like Agni, Vayu, Surya, Bhumi, Prana. Devatas, we have discussed in my lecture on Vedas, that all these Devas or Devatas are forces of nature or powers of nature, constituents of nature. They are all there. You know what is being said here is Yasmin Yukta Brahmarshayaha Devatascha Tamevam Jnatva. All these Devatas are inside Yasmin, inside whom? Inside which? That is inside the Paramatma, Parameshwara, God, Ishvara, Bhagavan. That's why all Devatas are components or parts of Parabrahman. So you worship any Devata, you are indirectly worshipping Parabrahma. That's why in all the Devata Upasanas, it is mentioned Parabrahma Swarupa. You take Lalita Pancha Sahasranam, Parabrahma Swarupini, it is said. If you take Vishnu Sahasranam, same Paramatmane, Parabrahmane. You take Shiva, again Parabrahma. You take Ganapati, Adharva Sirsha, again Parabrahma. Tvameva Pratchaksham Brahmasi. And if you take any other Devata, Surya, the Gayatri Mantra, we have Surya, Savita Devata. That's Savidurvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. So through sun, we are worshipping the Supreme Being, Paramatma, Parameshwar, Parabrahma. So any Devata you take, finally it is only a window. What is behind window is only the Supreme Being, Parabrahma. So this is the point he's making. Or any Deva Rishi you take, even personalities. Brahmarshi. Brahmarshayo Devatascha. So this Bhagavan, Parameshwar, Ishwar is there in the Brahmarshis also. Because Brahmavid Brahma, Brahmarshi is a person who is a Rishi who knows Brahman. So when he knows Brahman, that means he is Brahman himself. Therefore, like Devatas are all Brahman themselves. In fact, the word Brahmana also means a person who knows Brahman. That's why Brahmanas are called Bhusuras. They are Devas on earth. The Devas are not on earth. They are in heaven. But this person, this Brahmana who is a human, he is on earth. That's why he is known as Bhusura, because he knows all the Devatas. This is a very interesting episode on the lighter side. One day Narada asked about Krishna. Everybody is worshipping you, saying you are God, and so on. So whom do you worship? It's a very interesting question, isn't it? Krishna is a king. He is Krishna avatar. He is avatar of Vishnu. And he knows that. He is Purna avatar. And he is demonstrating it. So when Narada asked this question, Krishna answered this answer. I'll give you the answer. Daivadhinam Jagat Sarvam. This whole universe, Jagat, is Daivadhinam. It is based on Devatas. Mantradhinastu Devataha. And those Devatas or powers of nature are in control of the mantra pertaining to them. Tanmantra Brahmanadhinaha. And those mantras are in the control of who? Brahmana. So Tasmad Brahmano Mama Devata. Therefore, Brahmana is my Devata. So believe it or not, Lord Krishna every day used to wash the feet of a Brahmana Devata, and put that water on his head. So Brahmana means the person who has Brahmajnana. So the Devarishi, Brahmana, Devata, all are only windows to Parameshwara, Ishvara, Bhagavan. So if you jnatva, if you realize, if you see, if you understand, if you know that Parameshwara, Ishvara, then you will be Mrityu Pashas Chinanti. So you will be able to cut the binding death. Ghrutat param mandamivati sukshmam jnatvatigam sarvabhuteshu gudam jnatra shivam sarvabhuteshu gudam vishwasyekam pariveshtitaram jnatva devam muchyate sarvapapai. So just like the ghee is spread in entire milk or entire curd, so this Lord is spread in the entire universe. So by knowing this, you will be able to overcome all sins. We are committing sins. All the sins will have their results. How to transcend papam char, how to transcend sins, the effects of sins. Shokam tarati atmavit. So only Atmajnani or Brahmajnani will transcend shoka, which is the result of sin. Yesha Devo Vishwakarma. This Supreme Being is the maker of the universe, creator, karta. In Sikhism also, we have a statement as a prayer in the Gurudwaras. Ek Onkar, karta. That is one Onkar, which is creator. So, in fact, in all religions which are believing in the creator is there. That is why Esha Devaha Vishwakarma Mahatma. Mahatma means not a person, the Supreme Self. That's what it means. Sada Janan Hridaye Sannivishtaha Sarvascha Sam Hridi Sannivishto Mattasmrtirijnanam Apohanancha. I am residing in the hearts of all beings, he said in the Bhagavad Gita. So, Sarvascha, same thing he is being told here. He is there. Eko Deva Vishwakarma Mahatma Sada Jananam Hridaye Sannivishta. He is residing in the heart of all beings. Brahmadi Pipilikanta Tanushu Prota Jagat Sakshini. So from Chaturmukha Brahma, the creator himself, to the smallest living being or non-living being present in the heart. Hruda Manisha Manasa Vikstoya Eva Evam Viduhu Amrutaste Bhavante. Manisha Manasa Vikto Ya Evam Viduhu Amrutaste Bhavante. So Manisha means Manishi means who? Manishi is an ordinary person. Manishi means he is a great person and a very extraordinary person. So we all have to strive to become Manishis from just Manishi. So the Manishis, the supreme or extraordinary persons, they realize the supreme being in all beings, and then they will be liberated from the bondage. Amrita, and they become immortal. This is an incentive for all of us. How to become immortal? If you realize God, you become immortal. How? Because God is in everything and God has no death. So once you realize God and you are part of God and you know that you are part of God and God is immortal, therefore you are also immortal. If you think you are not God, the problem begins there. Everything begins from the thinking or feeling that you are different from God. ईश्वर से आप अलग है, इस तरह सोचने से सारा दुख शुरू हो जाता है। जब क्योंकि आपको ईश्वर का ज्ञान नहीं, जब ईश्वर का ज्ञान होता है आपको पता चल जाएगा कि ईश्वर आप में है और आप ईश्वर में है, सब कुछ ईश्वर में है और ईश्वर सब में है, और उसका कोई जन्म नहीं तो मृत्यु नहीं. So whatever is born has to die, and whatever is not born will never die. So the unborn, Ajaha, that is the name given to God. So it will never die. Therefore he is immortal. Amritas te bhavanti. They become immortal. Who are they? Manisha, Manasa Bhikto, Evam Viduhu. Amritaste Vyada Tamastanna Divana Ratrihi Annasva chinna eva kevalaha is kevala. Kevala tattva nirantarasham. Yada tamasa tanna diva naratrihi. There is no day and night for the Supreme Being. ईश्वर के लिए कोई दिन और रात नहीं होता. तदक्षरम तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम प्रज्ञा च तस्मात् प्रसृता पुराणी. So describing the attributes of Ishvara, Savituhu, that is sun. Sun means effulgent, light, radiant. Varenyam means most beloved, best. Prajna Chatasma, it is transcendental supreme knowledge. Prakrishta Jnana is Prajna. That's Smrita Purani. It is Purani, ancient. Naiva Murdham Natiryancha Namas Madhye Parijagravat Nadasya Pratimasti Yasya Nama Mahadyat Yashaha. All these are Veda mantras, by the way. They are not native to Shvetashvatra Upanishad. They are compilations from various Veda mantras. So mostly Yajurveda mantras are being quoted here without swara, but only for the meaning. Tadaksharam, of course, Aksharam Brahma Paramam, indestructible. जिसका कोई अक्षर नहीं होता. सवितुर्वरेण्यं प्रज्ञानश्च तस्मात् प्रसृता पुराणी नैव मूर्धं न तिर्यं च न मध्ये परिजग्रभत्. आप ऐसा, you cannot say it is in the top, it is in the middle, it's there everywhere. Because all the space and time perceptions are within Maya, part of the mind. न तस्य प्रतिमास्ति यस्य नाम महद्युतिः. न तस्य प्रतिमास्ति, not there is no equivalent. Pratima means, prati means equivalent object. So there is nothing equivalent to Parabrahman. It's unique and only one. So this is being interpreted by some people in Arya Samaj and also Muslim scholars that it shows that there is no pratima. Pratima means vigraha or idol or icon or image possible to be equal. Definitely it is not equal. So the big mistake these people are making is that to think that the Hindus are worshipping idols. Hindus are not worshipping idols. I told recently one Muslim scholar, every Hindu goes to the temple, knows clearly that it is an idol, except small children. Very small children think that itself is God. So what is happening in the temple? The first thing and the last thing that happens in the temple is chanting of mantras. And what are those mantras? They are mantras from Veda, the same mantras. So there is no worship of the idol. So what I am trying to say is, Natasya pratimasti. There is no equivalent to that supreme. Hello, can you hear me now? Okay.
It's okay, and you carry on.
Okay. So there is a statement here which is from Yajurveda, Natasya pratimasti. That is, there is no equivalent or icon equal to it. Now, that can also be interpreted, pratima means idol, icon. So all these Muslims and Arya Samajas, they say that idol worship is prohibited. Natasya pratima asti, from this mantra. So I would interpret there is no idol worship at all. They are thinking it is idol worship. There is no idol worship. The people who are going to the temple, they know very well that there is an idol and that is not God, but it is being used as a conduit, as a context. Because what is done in the temples, Veda mantras are chanted. What the Veda mantras are telling? They are telling the same Supreme Being whom the Arya Samajists accept from the Veda mantras and even the Muslims accept. So it is the same Supreme Being, but it is being explained in the context of an idol which has been given certain special status through certain rituals. So to think that idol is being equated to God is wrong. So according to Arya Samaj and according to Muslims and according to others, every Hindu is a fool because he is worshipping a stone. So this has to be understood. It's all question of thinking. So it is a question of understanding. I hope I am clear on this point. Natasya pratimasti yasya nama mahadyashaha, whose name is great fame, yashaha. Na sambhrute tishtati rupamasya na chakshusha paschati kaschinainan hruda hrudistham manasa eva evam viduramrutaste bhavanti. Hruda hrudistham, those who feel it, those who realize it, those who feel it through their heart. That means it's an emotional identification, realization. Hruda hrudistham, manasa ya evam viduhu amritaste bhavanti. So those who realize the nature of Ishvara, Parabrahman, Paramatma, they become immortal. Ajato jata ityevam kaschid bhiru prapadyate. Bhiru. Bhiru means a person who is bhi, having bhi means fear. So some people who are afraid of things, are afraid of God, they say the unborn is born. Unborn itself means it is never born. So ajayamanu bahudha vijayate. There is a statement. What does it mean? The unborn is born in many ways. That means these are all only his manifestations. He's not born actually. In fact, in Gita also he says, avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumasritaha param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwara. Fools, mudhas think that I am human. So human form avatar may be there, but God is not human, not born. Ajato jata ityevam kaschid bhiruhu prapadyate rudrayatte dakshinam mukham te namam pahi nityashaha. May that Shiva, Rudra, protect me always. Manastoke, these are all from the Rudrajaya of the Yajurveda. Manastoke, Tanaye mana ayushi mano goshu mano asveshu ririsha viran mano tutadhamato avadhar dhirha nishmanta sadamitva havamahe. So that Supreme Being who is there in everything, everywhere, we worship that. Now we go to the 5th chapter. Om Dve Akshare Brahma Pare Tvanante Vidya Vidye Nihite Yatra Gudhe Ksharam Tva Vidya Yamrutam Tu Vidya Vidya Vidye Ishate Yastu Sonyaha. So this in the Mundakopanishad we have already seen. Dve Vidye Vasanti. There are two types of Vidyas. The worldly, the para and apara. Apara means ordinary worldly knowledge or including scientific knowledge, including Devata knowledge. But para vidya means supreme knowledge, Adhyatma Vidya, Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya. Dve vidye, dve akshare brahma pare tu anante. In the infinite Brahman, there are two vidyas. Vidya and avidya sahite. Yatra gudhe, ksharantu avidya. So that knowledge of anything that is temporary is avidya. And knowledge of anything that is permanent is vidya. Vidya vidye ishate yastu sosyaha. Yo yonim yonim adhitishtat yeko vishwani rupani yonischa sarvaha. He who is the birth, original spot of the yoni means it refers to the spot of birth. Ekaikam jalam bahuna vikurvan yasmin kshetre haratyesha devaha bhuya drishtva padhayastvadhesha sarvadhipatyam kurute mahatma. That supreme self is controlling sarva adhipatityam. We have a proverb, ईश्वर के आज्ञा के बिना एक पत्ता भी नहीं हिलता है. शिवड़ आज्ञा लेनी चीमा ना कुट. एक चींटी भी नहीं काटेगा जब तक ईश्वर का आज्ञा ना हो, ईश्वर का इच्छा ना हो. So जो कुछ भी होता है, whatever happens is happening due to ईश्वरेच्छा, due to the will of God. Otherwise it will not happen. How do you explain this? So will of God is manifest through nature. So whatever happens in nature is according to laws of nature, which are laws of science. So whatever are happening, events that are happening, birth, death, even say this particular moment, this class, everything is happening as per the will of God, Ishwarecha. So you should be remembering this always. Without Ishwarecha, nothing will happen. ईश्वर के इच्छा के बिना एक पत्ता भी नहीं हिलता है. A famous proverb in Hindi. शिवड़ाज्ञलयन चीमय नाकुट, famous proverb in Telugu. Who सर्वादिश ऊर्ध्वम अधश्च तिर्यक् प्रकाशयन् भ्राजते यन्न advan in all directions. We have 8 major directions and then top and bottom. सर्वादिश ऊर्ध्वम अधश्च तिर्यक् प्रकाशयन् भ्राजते यन्न advan एवं हि देवो भगवान् वरेण्यो योनिस्वभावान् अतितिष्ठत्येषः. So this supreme being transcends the body level. Yes, swabhavam pachati vishvayonihi pachangscha sarvan parinamayedya sarvametad vishvam adhitishtatyekaha gunanscha sarvan viniyojayadyaha. Adhitishtati. He supervises, he controls. Normally this realization is not there but in us, that everything is in control of God. So it is not in your control. Is it in your control? I have tried my level best to stop my mother from death, but I could not. Then I realized it's not in my hands. Similarly, birth, death, and so many other events, anything that happens, it's not because of you it is happening. So many events will be there. So many causes of those events will be there. Cause of the cause, cause of the cause, cause of the cause, the chain of causes. Finally, there is a original cause. Moola karanam. Moolaha. Yavvani che janinchu jagam yavvani lopalanundu leenamai yavvani andudindu. పరమేశ్వరుడెవ్వడు, మూల కారణంబెవ్వడు, అనాది మధ్యలయుడెవ్వడు, సర్వముదానయైన వాడెవ్వడు, వానినాత్మజుని నే శరణంబు వేడని. This is from Srimad Bhagavata Purana, which is describing the nature of God in one single poem. Who is the creator? ఎవ్వని చే జనించు జగం, ఎవ్వని లోపల నుండు లీనమై, in whom, inside whom this universe resides, merged with him. Yavani yandu dindu, into whom the universe and all parts of the universe die or disappear into. Parameshwarudevvadu. Who is the Parameshwara? Moola karanam evvadu. Who is the cause, original cause? Because all effects which you see are due to causes, and causes themselves are effects of other causes, and so on in the chain of cause and effect relationship. So finally there is one original cause for which there is no other cause. That is called Moola Karan, root cause. So who is the root cause? Moola Karanam Devvad, Anadi Madhyalayudevvad, who has no beginning, middle or end. Sarvabodhanayayina Vadevvad, he who is himself becoming everything. How? Tat srishtva tadevanu pravishan. So like a spider will create a cobweb from the thread which is coming out of its own mouth, and then it will withdraw. So that is the closest equivalent given to God, that the universe is created by God and it is pervaded by God. Yaccha svabhavam vadati vishvayonihi. This is the origin of universe. Pachamsa sarvan parinamayechyu sarvametad vishvamadhitishthत्येकः gunansya sarvan viniyojayedhyah. He who is appointing all the gunas, sattva guna, rajo guna, tamo guna, tad veda guhyopanishatsu gudham, and he is the secret inside the Veda, inside the Upanishads. Tad Brahma, that is Brahman. Vedate Brahmayonim ye purvam deva rushayasya tad vituste tanmaya amrita vaibabhu. So he was realized by our ancestors, the Purvebhihi Rishibhihi, Agni Purvebhihi Rishibhihi. The previous rishis have known him, have realized him. Devas know him. Yam medham devagana pitarasyopasate taya mamadya medhaya agne medha vidam kuru tadviduste tanmaya amrita jaiva bhu. So those who merged into Parameshwar, they become immortal, even though their body may die. Gunanvayoya, that is moksha. Otherwise they'll be born again. Gunanvayoya palakarma karta, he who delivers the results of your karmas, your actions. So you reap what you sow. Kritasya tasyaiva sachopabhokta vishvarupastrigunastrivatma vishvadhipasancha rati swakarmibhi swakarmabhihi. Vishwarupaha, he is manifest as universe. Please understand this. Just like gold is manifesting as many ornaments, Ishvara is manifesting as this universe. That's why in the first word in Vishnu Sahasranam we have Vishvam Vishnuhu. Angushtamatro Ravitulya Rupaha, is shining like sun very small, angushta matra. Sankalpa ahankara samanvito yaha buddher gunena atmaguneva chaiva atmagunena chaiva आराग्रमात्रो ह्यपरोऽपि दृष्टः वालाग्रशतभागस्य तथा कल्पितस्य च भागो जीव सविज्ञेय स चानन्त्याय कल्पते. He's supposed to be like small fraction of a hair follicle. That much size is the Jivatma. Bhag नैव स्त्री वपुमानेश नैव चायं नपुंसकः यद्यत् शरीरमादत्ते तेन तेन सयुज्यते. Now this is another question, whether God is male or female. So everybody will say male, male, male like that. So in fact, when Constitution of India was being drafted, they wanted to add that sentence in the beginning that in God we trust. Like, in America, they have written like that in the Constitution. Ishwar pe praman karke. So immediately the Bengali MPs, they said it should be in goddess. So there was a big argument whether God is male or female. So that's what is being clarified here. God is not male or female, okay? Male and female are for the human body or animal bodies, not for the soul. Now, so many people in the audience right now, some are males, some are females. Whatever be their sex, they are getting the same knowledge, the same buddhi. So it is not related to bodily sex. Right. Naiva stri nava puman esha naiva chayam na napumsakaha yadyat shariramaadatte tena tena sayujyate sankalsas संकल्पस्पन संसृष्टि होमैर्ग्रासाम्बुरुष्याजात् कर्मानुगानुष्यमक्रमेण देहि स्थानेषु रूपाणि अभिसंप्रद्यते. According to the karma, the Jivatma assumes different types of bodies. I am now assuming the body of a teacher, you are assuming the body of a listener or a student, depending on your karma. स्थूलानि सूक्ष्माणि बहूनि चैव रूपाणि देहि स्वगुणैर्वृणोति. This dehi means Atma, self, will assume sthula or sukshma, different bodies. Swagunairvrinoti kriya gunairatma gunaischa tesham samyoga hetu aparopi drishtaha. So even though he is transcendental, supreme self, he appears in all these different forms. Anadyanantam kalilasya madhye vishwasya prashtaram tam aneka rupam sahasrasirsham devam vishwasam. He is appearing in thousands and thousands and thousands of forms. Infinite number of forms. The word thousand doesn't mean exactly thousand, it means infinite. Aneka rupam vishwasya prashtaram. So he is the creator, sustainer, destroyer of the universe and appears in many forms. Anadi Anantam. He is infinite, no beginning. Anadi Ananta, no end. In the Vishwarupa Sandarshana 11th chapter, he has explained the same thing. Vishwasyekam pariveshtitaram jnatva devam uchyate sarvapapai. So by knowing, realizing that one supreme being manifests as many forms of the universe, you become liberated. Bhavagrahyam bhava bhavakaram shivam Kala sargasaram devam ye viduste juhustavam. Om now Shashtodhyaya Swabhavameke kavayo vadanti kalam tadanye parimukyamana Daivasya mahinam mahimatu loke yenedam brahmyate brahmachakram. Some people explain as Kala Swarupa. Ishvara is explained as Kala Swarupa, time. And he is rotating the wheel of time endlessly. Kala Chakram. Brahmyate Brahmachakram. Brahmachakram, the whole universe. Yenavratam nityamidam sarvam sarvajnaha kala kalo guni sarvavidyaha. He is Kala and Akala also. You know this slogan, Akal, Sat Sri Akal. What does it mean? Om Tat Sat Sri Akal. The existence, pure truth, pure existence, and it is beyond time. It's a very profound statement. So you find these kind of statements even in Sikh religion, but they are as profound as the Upanishads or Vedas. They are in fact taken from here only. The Sikhs are not different. The word Sikh stands for the word Sishya. So all Sishyas are Sikhs. So they have taken the first son of all Punjabi families to make an army. Guru Gobind Singh made an army by taking the first son and put a rule, a uniform rule that you should grow your hair and all those things, carry one kripan and so on. But otherwise, why did that army required? That army was required to protect Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism from getting converted into Islam by force. So if the Sikhs were not there, there will be no Hinduism left. That is the fact. And you know, if you go to Punjab, you can realize this. How fierce the war was. The conversion was so fierce and so horrible that a Khalsa army had to be created. In Anandapur Sahib, Khalsa was created. The Akal Takht was created. Akal, timeless Takht is throne. The word Akal, I explained all this in the context of the word Akal. If somebody has used the word Akal, that means he knows the subject very deeply. Arabhya karmani gunanvidani bhavam cha sarvan viniyojayetya. So he who appoints all existence, all bodies, tesha bhave kritakarmana karmakshaye yatina tattvam. Adis samyoga nimitta hetu parastrikala dakalopi drishtaha tam vishwarupam bhavabhutamidhyam devam swachittastham upasya purvam. Now, that supreme deva is inside in your own mind. Swachittastham. So, universal power. Oh, are you going to go around the whole universe? Is it possible? No, it's not possible. He is inside you. Atmasthaha yoga. That is the definition of yoga. Yoga is defined as being established in yourself. Be in yourself, that's enough. So that's why even in the Bhagavata sloka poem which I quoted, Yavani che janinchu jagamevvani lopala nunduli namai yavvani andudindu paramesvarudevvadu ಮೂಲ ಕಾರಣಂಬೆವ್ವಡನಾದಿ ಮಧ್ಯಲಯುಡೆವ್ವಡು ಸರ್ವಮುದಾನಯೈನವಾಡೆವ್ವಡು ವಾನಿನಾತ್ಮಜುನಿ. You is inside me, inside the self, In fact, Vemana makes fun of those who run here and there in search of God. Even Kabir makes fun. Na mandir mein, na masjid mein, mai to tere paas. So, ఇటు ఘటములో పెట్టిన జీవు కానలేక నరుడు కాశీకి వెతికి అతడు వెర్రి అయిపోయారా. You are not able to see the Lord within yourself, but you go to Kashi or Rameshwaram or Prayag and start searching. Where is God? Is he in this temple or in that temple? And so on. What can be more foolish than this? ఇంద్రియముల చేత నెగ్గొందుచుండెడు వెర్రి మనుజుడెల్ల వెదకు శివుని. A person who is getting distracted by his mind and emotions and senses, like we are all, we have to search for God outside us. God is there, God is here, but actually God is inside you. ఇంద్రియముల రోసి ఈశుని చూడరా విశ్వదాభిరామ. So first you reject your sensory perception and your mind function perception. Then see the Supreme Being in yourself. Hridaya swahridistham sarvasya chaham hridisannivishta. I am in the heart of all beings. आरभ्य कर्माणि गुणान्वितानि भावांश्च सर्वान् विनियोजयेद्यः. He who has appointed all beings, who based on the karmas and the gunas, tesham abhave kritakarmanashaha. So once the gunas are not there, if you transcend the gunas, you go into nirguna stage, then the karma is destroyed. Karmakshaye yati na tat sattatvato anyaha. Adi samyoga nimitta hetu. Adi samyoga nimitta hetu. The first joining conjunction is the cause. Parastrikalaha dasalopi drishtaha. The three times, past, present and future, are created. Tam Vishwarupam Bhavabhutam Idyam, that universal form who is to be worshipped. Idyam means worshipped, to be worth worshipping. Devam Sachittastham Purvam. So upasana inside your own heart, in your own mind. Now here is a very interesting quotation I want to give in this context. It is very worth remembering about silence. What is silence? It is Meher Baba's quotation, but it is worth remembering. What is silence? He was silent for 40 years and he told what is silence. I used to communicate only in writing. The mouth is silent, the mind is out. When the mind is silent, the heart is active. Feelings. Because our people today, youngsters, they lost all feelings. They are thinking only logically. That is a result of our education. The heart, feelings, children have feelings. When the heart is silent, soul is active. They're not able to see the soul. Heart and soul, we have. He put his heart and soul. If you transcend the heart, then you can see the soul. That is Jivatma, Atma, soul. When the soul is silent, God is active. As long as you are in Ahankara, God will not be visible to you. When you submit, Prapatti, Mamevaye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. If you submit your ego to the Supreme Being, to the Lord, then God is active. If you want God to be active in you, you have to submit your soul to the God. And if you want to submit your soul to the God, you have to submit your heart. Before that, you have to submit your mind. Before that, you have to submit your speech. So that is silence. The whole thing is called silence. Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Param. I'm going to give a lecture in Dakshinamurti Stotram. Dakshinamurti gave a lecture in silence. Not about silence, but in silence he gave a lecture. And he got the results. Tam Ishwaranam Paramam Maheshwaram Tam Devatanam Paramam Cha Devatam. That who is the supreme Ishvara, supreme divine being. Patim Patinam Paramam Parastad Vidhama Devam Bhuvanesha Medium. The Lord of the universe. Natasya Karyam Karanam Cha Vidyate. Natat Samascha Adhikascha Drishyate. Nobody, nothing is equal to him or greater than him. Parasya Shakti Vividhaiva Sruyate. Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. His power is shown as in two forms, Jnana and Bala. Natasya Kaschit Patirasti, there is no Lord to him. He is Supreme Lord. Lokena Cheshitanaiva cha tasya lingam Karanam Karanadhipadhipo Nachasya Kaschit Janita Nachadhipaha. He is not born to anybody. In fact, same statements are mentioned in the Quran also. Yes. Yastam nabha iva tantubhi pradhanajaihi svabhavatah deva ekas samavrinot. Of course, Quran also contains all kinds of nonsensical statements. That is the whole problem. Here we don't have that problem. Nonsensical statements are not in the Upanishads or in the Vedas. But that means somebody has added it. That means it's a compilation. Taking some statements from the Vedas and Upanishads and adding all kinds of cock and bull stories. This is done in most of the texts. Even in the Puranas it has been done, but not in the Veda and Upanishads. Eko Deva Sarva Bhuteshu Gudha, a very famous repeated sentence. One divine power hidden in all beings, Sarvavyapi, spread everywhere, Sarva Bhutantaratma, the self of all, Eko Deva Sarva Bhuteshu Gudha, Sarvavyapi, Sarva Bhutantaratma, Karmadhyakshaha. He is the supervisor of all karmas. Sarva Bhutadhivasaha. He is residing in all beings. Sakshi, as witness. Cheta Kevalu Nirgunascha. Kevalaha, absolute, Nirguna, attributeless. Eko Vashi, he who is in control. Nishkriyanam Bahunam. Ekam Rupam Bahudhaya Karoti. One who is appearing as many. Tamatmastham, who is inside myself. Ye anupashyanti, those who see him in their own self. Atmayandu Paramatmani Podagaduru, Bhagavad Purana also says. Those who can see Paramatma in Atma, Tesham Sukham Shashvatam Netaresham, only to them the happiness is permanent, not to others. Because all others see everything temporary, the happiness is also temporary. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetana Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. So the permanent among temporary. Nityo Anityanam Chetanas Chetananam. The Chetana, the consciousness in the conscious and the unconscious bodies. Eko Bahunam, one in many and all. Yo Vidadhati Kaman, he who delivers all desires. Tat Karanam Sankhya Yoga Digamyam. That cause which is reachable through Sankhya and Yoga. Jnatva Deham Muchyate Sarvapapaihi Sarvapashaihi. So realization of that God will result in liberation, freedom. Muchyate sarva papayih, pasayih, mokshayih. Moksha, freedom from all bondages. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhati utoyam agnihi. In that level, there is no sun, there is no moon, there is no fire, nothing. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibha. Because of the light of the Supreme Being, the sun is shining. Because of the sun, light of the sun, moon is shining, stars are shining, planets are shining. Ekoham so bhuvanasyasya madhye saevagni salili sannivishtaha. He is that energy principle who is in the fire as well as in the waters. Evam viditva te mrityumedi namya pantha vidyate yanaya. He who realizes him alone will transcend death, not others. Vishvakrud Vishwavatma Yonijnah Kala Kalo Guni Sarva Vidyah Pradhana Kshetrajna Vatirgyatam Nesha Samsara Moksha Sthiti Bandha Hetu Tanmayo Shamrita Isha Sensajno. Isha is the name, Ishvara, Isha, Amrutaha, Ishaha, Sarvajnahasam, Sarvago Bhuvanasya Gopta, Ishe Asya Jagato Nityameva, Namyo Hetur Vidyata Ishanaya, Yo Brahmanam Vitadati Purvam, Yo Vai Vedasya Prahinoti Tasmai, Tam Hadev Tad Deham Atma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshur Vai Sharanamaham Prapadye. I surrender to that supreme power who created the Brahma himself, who created the universe. And the light of the self. Nishkalam, Nishkriyam, Shantam, Niravadyam, Niranjanam, Amrutasya Param Setum, Dabdhendhanamivanalam. Yada, this comparison with fire is very common. And even in the Old Testament, the narrative of Moses seeing God as fire in the bush is there. Yada charmana akasham deshtayanti tishthavyanti manavaha tada shivam avijnaya dukkhasyanto bhavishyati. Yada charmavad akasham veshtayishyati ishyanti manavaha tada shivam avijnaya dukkhasyanto bhavishyati. Tapaprabhava deva prasadacha. So your tapasya will remove your miseries. And the effects of tapasya, tapaprabhava deva prasadat, by the anugraha. One of the characteristics of anugraha, that is srishti sthiti laya anugraha, is also that ability to be considerate and compassionate and deliver blessings to the devotees. These are the characteristics of Ishvara. Tirodhana, Anugraha Tirodhana, Srishti Sthiti Laya Anugraha Tirodhana. These are the 5 characteristics of Ishvara. Jiva doesn't have this Anugraha and Tirodhana. And so ability to perform Srishti Sthiti Laya. So Maya was Ishvara is Jiva. So Atman beyond Maya is Ishvara. And he is capable of creation, sustenance and dissolution. And also grace. Anugraha is grace. Tapaprabhava deva prasadacha brahmana svetashvatarodha vidwan. So vidwan, he will understand svetashvatarodha vidwan. This is not svetashvatara, but svetashvatara, white horse. Atyakramibhya paramam pavitram provacha samyagrishi sanghajustam. This most purest, holiest Upanishad has been told to the rishis, which is a compilation of the Veda mantras plus Vedante paramam guhyam pura kalpa prachodhitam. In the Vedanta, this is the most supreme secret driven by the kalpa in the ancient time, and it should not be taught. What I have taught in this Upanishad is what is being taught. It should not be taught to aprashantaya, who is not in prashanta sthiti, datavyam na putraya, he who has no sons or disciples, ya sishyaya vaipuna asishyaya vaipuna. You should teach only to your sishya or to your son or to a person who is in prashanti. That means like a muni, not to everybody. It is not meant for everybody. Because they won't understand anyway if you teach us. Tasyete kathitah hyardha prakashante mahatmanah yasya deve para bhaktihi. A person who has transcendental bhakti, para bhakti. Bhakti is of different types. Normal bhakti or prasadam bhakti and desired bhakti. If you go to Tirupati and talk to all the people in the queue, why did you come here? They will give reasons of all kinds. All are desires only, not para bhakti. Para bhakti is without desire. So yasya deve para bhakti. He who has transcendental bhakti, para bhakti, he who has para bhakti in the divine being, yatha deve tatha gurau, and also para bhakti into Guru, because Guru is delivering the jnana. Tasyete kathita yardha. Only for him all these statements are meant to be delivered. Prakashante mahatme. Only in such people these statements will make sense, will enlighten him. Prakashante mahatmanaha. Prakashante mahatmanaha. And such people who reach that level through this instruction, this Upanishad, will become Mahatmas. Prakashante Mahatmanaha, Prakashante Mahatmanaha, twice repeated, Ityupanishad. This is the Falashruti. So, those who have Parabhakti, Yasya Deve Parabhakti, Yadha Deve Tadha Guru, and also in Guru, equal to Deva. For him, these statements and the meanings of these statements are delivered. They will enlighten him. Prakashante Mahatmanaha. So they will become enlightened. They will become enlightened. Ityupanishad. So the Upanishad is over. And of course, it has to be closed with Shanti Mantra. So we will close with Shanti Mantra. Bhadram karne vishnayama deva bhadram pasyemakshbhiryajatra sthirairangai tushtvagum sastanubhi vyasema devahitam yadayuh swasti na indro vruddhasrava swasti na purusha visvaveda swasti na staksho arishtanemi swasti no brihaspati dadatu om purnamadah purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I have finished today's session.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu Garu, for the very enlightening talk on the Svetasvatara Upanishad. The first question in the chat box is that why Rishi is named as Sweta?
No, it's not the name. It is many Upanishads are given such strange names which have no very specific meaning, like Mandukya Upanishad, frog. No, there is no explanation inside the Upanishad why it is called Mandukya. So here also Sweta Ashvatara, that means there is a white horse. I think there is a reference to a white horse in the text. It must be related, is my guess. There is no explanation given anywhere. Many Upanishads are like that. Taittiriya, and Titila Pakshi, that that bird, particular bird. So it is a context of some very simple. That's not a question worth asking. You can ask. If you have asked, I have answered. But the questions that should be asked about are the philosophical questions.
Okay, Amar Singh ji.
Shubhodayam, sir. I have a question, like in the Muslim law, when I read it, like I'm doing a law. So in Arab times, like before the Prophet Muhammad came, they used to worship all the what you call the idols. And when you see the Dayanand Saraswati Arya Samaj, in his Ved Prakash book, he also mentioned Om. Om remains the ultimate expression. My same doubt is that the best way form of worshipping, like meditation is a worshipping, keeping an ideal in the mind is a worshipping, going to temple is a best form of worshipping. Which is the best form of worshipping in this all?
So it depends on the person. There is no single formula for all.
Okay.
See, that is the beauty of Hinduism. Whereas in other religions, there is only a single. Everybody has to do only that. Everybody has to do namaz, everybody has to do church prayer, same thing. It's not like that in Hinduism. Hinduism is broad and it's like an open standard. You must have heard of open standards in computer science.
Yes.
So this is open, democratic. You can do anything. You can be an atheist also, Nastic also, and still be Hindu. That is the beauty of the Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma. Because all these people, what has actually happened in time sequence? The oldest is Hinduism, right? You know that, right? The
Yeah.
Vedas are the oldest.
All
Now, what has happened over a long period of time? Because up to Mahabharata, Mahabharata itself is 5,000 years old from now.
Yes.
So, up to Mahabharata, that is Bhagavad Gita, up to Bhagavad Gita, there is no other religion in the whole world. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So, after Bhagavad Gita, that is in the last 5,000 years only, all religions have come. Buddha was born, so he started Buddhism. So, actually, there is no religion as such called Buddhism. The word Buddhism is coined by Britishers. Buddha was a guru, he was a yogi, he was a kshatriya, he was a guru. He had some followers. He gave big speeches in local language, Pali. So a lot of followers were there. It is like saying Pavanism. You know Pavanism?
Yeah.
It is like that. So it is not a religion. It is just having followers. So similarly, Jainism. Now Sikhism. Sikhism means what? It is not a separate religion. Sikh Panth was created to create an army for protecting Sanatana. And they delivered the results. Otherwise, we all would have been Muslims. Two major forces, one is the Sikhs and the second is Marathis. Suppose these two are not there, the whole India would have been Pakistan. Understand what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, sir, like
so now that is about India. Now, outside India, what has happened? The whole world was Hindu. It is very clearly mentioned that the ancestors of Ram ke jo purvaj the, Dilip tha, Raghu tha, Harishchandra tha, Suryavansh Kshatriya, they ruled the whole globe. It is clearly mentioned. This earth belongs to the Ikshvaku Vamsha. That was the situation way back. Even Rama was the challenge was from Ravana. That's why he destroyed. It's a military expedition, and Ravana had such powers that he cannot be killed by anybody except human beings and animals. All others, Deva, Gandharva, Yaksha, Kinnari, nobody can kill him. So he went as a human being with monkeys. So that is a military expedition. So once Ravana is finished, the whole world is under Ayodhya. Of course, most of it was forest. Very few pockets, human beings were there. So now what has happened as time passed, Treta Yuga passed and Dwapara Yuga came, up to Dwapara Yuga, up to Mahabharata, up to Bhagavad Gita, there is no other religion. Outside India also. So what happened outside India? Zoroastrianism was the first separate, so-called separate religion born out of the Vedic Hinduism. The Zen Davest, Parsis, the fire temple is there. You have been there anytime? The fire temple is there in
Yeah.
Abbots and Tilak Road and also in Paradise near Charmas.
Yes.
They are the first separate religion born out of Vedas. Around 3000 BC, some people say that their founder Jarust met Vyasa and had discussions. Some people say that. We don't know exactly whether they met or not. So that's as old as that. So if you see their holy text in the West, it will contain same statement which I read today and also in the Rig Veda. What word you'll find exactly repeated, but with some distortion in the language. S becomes H and H becomes S. So Hind becomes Sindh and Himalayas becomes Himalayas. So with this change in the language, Old Persian, Zend means Chand. Chand means Veda. It's exactly same. I have seen Gayatri Mantra in Zendarist. And that Varuna was elevated to the level of only one god and became Ahura Mazda. Ahura is Asura. Sura, Asura, that brothers.
Yeah, sure.
So they, and Shukracharya was their guru. So Shukracharya was son of Prabhu. Prabhu went from India to Iran via Gujarat. It is there are enough historical indications. I went to the house of Bhrigu. It is there in Dhosi Hill area, Rewadi, near Rewadi in Rajasthan, Haryana border. From Delhi, it's 2.5 to 3 hours. That's where the Hemachandra Vikramaditya lived. Hemu, his devotee is there. His descendants are there. I gave a lecture there. Bhrugu's house, I went to Uddalaka's house. Can you believe this? Uddalaka is in Kathopanishad. They are all there. So that's about 10,000 BC. So these people, in fact, there is, according to some people, there was a war, Dasarajnya Yuddha in Rig Veda. So those who got defeated, they went to Iran. So in that Zen West, this Rigvedic statement of Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vanti, one supreme being with multiple Devata manifestations, is extended further to talk of only one supreme being without referring to the Devata manifestations. Monotheism, Ekeshwarvad. Even now in the Shvetashvatra Upanishad, we have seen only that only. But it is shown that the same one supreme being is manifest in different Devata forms. But there, they have finally dropped other Devata forms and only one supreme being, one supreme being, one supreme. So, monotheism. So then the Persian Empire was very big. Around 2500 BC, Persepolis, Darius and various other emperors, they ruled the whole area, including Israel. So they gave order to all their people that you should worship only one God, no multiple gods. So the Jews who were there in Israel, they were worshipping multiple gods. They were also Hindus in that sense. And they were forced to adopt one God. So they upgraded their one God called Yahweh, is like Rudra, into only one God, and all other gods dropped. So that is how Judaism was born. So that monotheism, Yahweh, the word Yahweh simply means I exist. Sat. Now, formless monotheism. And there again, they forgot the manifestation in different Devta forms and different forms of nature that they dropped. So that as if it is a separate, independent person who is formless. So all kinds of distortions started happening. And that was imported into Christianity as Yehovah. Yahweh became Yehovah. So in Bible, in the Old Testament, it is all for Jews. New Testament is for Christians. So New Testament, they added Jesus as Son of God. And that Jesus is a myth. He never existed. It is a fiction. See, like fiction is very powerful. Like now, some movies are there, who are more, like there is one, in Telugu movies also, they show fiction, but people think it is real. And many movies are fiction. Almost all movies are fiction. Even though they may have some historical facts, but they add a lot of masala and make it very tasty fiction. So this is what they did, and that's how Christianity was. And the big joke is the Old Testament was written after New Testament. Can you believe this? The New Testament got created about 350 AD, and the Old Testament was created around 600 AD. Why? Because the Christians kept on converting the whole globe, and people in Russia and Germany, in Russia they are called Khazars, and Germany they are called Ashkenazis. They want to escape from getting converted to Christianity. They were all Hindus. They were all Aryans. So they created one Old Testament saying that they also belong to original Abraham independently. So the Abraham is supposed to have so many descendants. Actual original Jews were blacks and browns who spoke Jewish. But these fellows are Europeans from Poland and Germany and Russia. So they landed in Israel saying we are all Jews. Today whom you see in Israel are Europeans. They are not original Jews. It's like ISKCON people who are whites. They also say they are Hindus. So now if you go to Vrindavan, they are dominating there. And local Hindus are sidelined in Mathura, Vrindavan. So that is the kind of thing that has happened in Israel. So that is how they created the Old Testament to justify their separate identity independent of Christianity conversion. And in Arabia, all were Hindus. Makkah itself was Hindu. So many other Hindu temples are there. European, the entire thing was Hindu. So Europe was converted around 7th century AD into Christianity. Just like in India, conversion is going on right now. Europe also is converted. Then Arabia was converted. So there are a lot of Arab Christians who use the word Allah for God. In fact, Allah for God is used way before, even 2000 years before the birth of Islam, the word Allah was used. And there are poetry in Arabic referring to Allah and Vedas and India with great holiness and reverence. I have those poems, 20 poems are. I called Sarao Okul, some name is there. And that word Allah was used in those poems, referring to Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and India as a holy place for liberation. And I've seen some of those poems written on the walls of Birla Temple in Delhi. If you go to Delhi, go to Birla Temple. Behind the main temple, there is one Bagicha. There is a Yajnashala there. On the walls, they have written those Arabic poems. So that word Allah was there way before Islam was born, thousands of years. And after that, when Christians were there in Arabia, they also used the word Allah for their God. And they used the word Muhammad for Messiah, that is Jesus. They meant Jesus because Christians talk of Jesus. They use the word Muhammad, Rasulullah for their God, Son of God. So there are two types of Christianity, the Trinitarian and the Unitarian. Trinitarian behave, there are the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. God is in three parts. And Unitarian means only one God. So they are called Arians. They are the Unitarian church people. That same concept was imported and a religion called Islam was created as late as 9th century AD by one Abdul Malik, whose name was also Muhammad. Muhammad is like saying a good man, best man. So Jesus was also called Muhammad. This fellow also called, everybody is called Muhammad. So that fellow used his name Muhammad and created in retrospect, 200 years, 300 years before him, he gave a narrative. And that is the compilation of Quran, which happened in 9th century AD by one Iranian and one Iraqi authors. Under that fellows, he is the king. He conquered Iran and all that. So there is enough historical evidence for whatever is being told by me. It is not my own theory. There are so many other evidences for this. Coins, for example. And the reference to Mecca. Mecca was not there. Because even in Quran, the place called Mecca has rivers and orchards. It's not possible. There are no rivers in Mecca. It's a desert. So it is something else. It may be Petra. Even today in Petra, there are hundreds of temples. So this is like a company. Each religion is a company who is recruiting people. Come on, give money and take. So they created a whole colony of that company or that party, you can say, party. So on one side, Christianity, and to contract it, this. So these two people are balancing, and they are the largest population in the world. So I gave you in a nutshell. 8 o'clock, its time is over.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu garu. And we'll take up the question after the Prarthana. Sriyar garu.
ధన్యవాదాలు సార్.
Okay. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथ्वी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः अपुत्राः पुत्रिणः सन्तु पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधनाः सधनाः सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतम् सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान् मा प्रमदः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ओम शांति शांति शांतिः ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति शांति शांतिः सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु स्वस्ति
ధన్యవాదాలండి శ్రీయర్ గారు. థ్యాంక్స్ ఫర్ ది ప్రార్థన. నౌ వి రేస్ ఫర్ ది నేషనల్ యాంథమ్. जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय जय Now,
Yeah, I want to explain very clearly one thing.
right.
The Vedas and the Upanishads being the oldest in the world, they contain the original knowledge of God. So that same knowledge is brought out in the Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutras. Same knowledge is brought out in the Guru Granth Sahib. Now, out of this knowledge, certain portions are taken out and Buddhism was built. Like Ahimsa was given top importance and yoga was given. Jainism was built on Ahimsa. By whom? By the founders, the individual like Buddha, Mahavira, and so on. And Guru Nanak. I've studied all these things in detail. So I try to find out what is common between these religions within India, let us say first. So we found Dharma is common. They all support Dharma. What Buddha did is called Dharma Chakra Pravartana. First thing he did 7 times, he went to Sri Lanka. I went to Sri Lanka also. I went to the place where Buddha's tooth is kept as a temple, big temple called in a place called Kandy. So in a silver casket, his tooth is kept. That is called Tooth Temple. And I went to Shashwat mountain in Gujarat where I climbed 5,000. That is Jain holy place. I studied Jainism to some extent. Here we have in. So we found what is common is Dharma is common. They all support Dharma. Satya, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, Asteya, Parigraha. 5 fundamental principles all uphold very strongly. And yoga is also common. They all practice yoga. Buddha practiced yoga. Buddha practiced pranayama, dhyana, samadhi. So what pranayama he did, what dhyana he did, and how he entered into some. All this is given in detail in the Tripitakas, Lalita Vistara, and other holy texts. So yoga is all yoga. And you can see Jain Munis, they are also yogis. They are sitting in samadhi, in Padmasana. All 24 Tirthankaras are sitting in samadhi. So Dharma and yoga are common. You all agree to this extent? If any objection is there, you can tell me. So coming to Sikhism, it is no way different from Hinduism. It is created to protect Hinduism. So now within India, there is a unison, there is a harmony to that. They are called dharmic religions. Though there were wars and there were conversions of temples from one to the other, all this has happened. But on the whole, the basic difference between Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism and Buddhism, Jainism, if you want to show the difference, commonality is Dharma and Yoga. The difference is they don't accept God. They say God is not required. That is the main difference between them and the Vedas. And they don't accept yajnas. And they don't accept violence of any kind. That is fine. Ahimsa, Paramo Dharma, even in the Vedas it is mentioned. But they don't accept God. They don't need for creator according to them. Atma only. But they accept Atma. Atma, they won't accept Paramatma. They accept only Atma. So Atma, Paramatma are one and the same, we are saying. So, but it is mostly same. They may not accept an external Ishvara or creator God, but they are accepting everything else. So we cannot say they are different. In Chanakya's time in Arthashastra, Brahmanas, Shramanas, they are mentioned together. Shramana means a Jain Muni, equivalent to Brahmana. And they are giving same treatment. And of course, Buddhist monks were there in all the places. They had Bihar. What the word Bihar means what? Vihar. What Vihar? Buddha Vihar. All monasteries of Buddhism. I mean, the country is core Buddhist originally. So Shankaracharya reverted back India to original Vedic Sanatana Dharma. Otherwise, the whole country was Buddhist. We were all Buddhists at that time. But after Shankaracharya came around 1500 years after Buddha. Now the revised date of Buddha is 1900 BC. And Shankaracharya's date is 500 BC. The old date is 500 BC for Buddha and 800 AD for Shankaracharya. It is all wrong. Now it has been revised by research. Not by me. I'm only a reporter. I am not creator of any of this. I'm just reporting to you. So within India, there is some kind of a harmony because in Constitution of India also, Buddhist, Jain, Sikhs are considered as part of Hindu law. So there is no issue on that. The issue comes only because, in fact, in Constitution was written, somebody proposed that Muslims, Christians also should be considered as Hindus. That many people opposed. Main reason is that these religions came from outside India. Whereas these three, Buddhist, Jain and Sikh, are born only inside India. So because they are from outside India, they protested, and so they were not included as Hindus. The word Hindu simply means a person who lives in Hindustan. That's why nowadays RSS chief is saying Hindus means whosoever lives in Hindustan, either Muslim or Christian or Buddhist or Jain, is a Hindu. Well, that was not accepted by some people then also and now also. Okay, keeping aside, coming to the outside world, because the Suryavamsa Kshatriyas ruled the entire globe, as old as that, Hindus, all were Hindus, all countries, Saptadvipa, Vasundhara. So the Suryavamsa Hindu empire was spread all over the globe, and that is well known, and nobody is questioning that. But time passes, a huge period of time, 1 lakh years might have passed. So during that time, the language, Sanskrit language and Vedas, they were diluted. Finally, new languages are born, which appear to be different from original. The old Persians and the West, and then from it came Greek. 1000 BC, Greek came. There was no Greek before 1000 BC. And Latin came around 600. And these cultures, Greek, Yavana, they are called Yavana in Sanskrit. Some people say that the Kshatriyas who were driven out of, or who ran away out of India, they went and settled in Greece. Like Parshurama time, many Kshatriyas ran away. And there are many other references to Yavanas. Kala Yavana is there in Bhagavad Purana. Shankaracharya also refers to Yavani Bhasha, Greek language. So Greeks are the original parents of the Europeans. From Greek culture and language and religion, all European nations, language, religions came. And Greek language is very close to Old Persians in the West and therefore Sanskrit. So Sanskrit has been recognized as the mother of Greek and Latin, which are the parents of other European language. Latin is called a classical language of Europe. And if you listen to Latin, it will be exactly same as Sanskrit. Like many words like Ashta. Ashta is Octa. Nava is November. Amber is sky. It's just the same as Sanskrit. So Greek and Latin are close to Sanskrit, and that's why Sanskrit was declared as the parent of Greek and Latin, and therefore the parent of all European languages by William Jones. And later, after the British colonized India, they degraded Sanskrit, saying it is only an elder sister of Greek and Latin. Whatever it is original language of which the European languages, culture, civilization came. In Europe, they have done a lot of archaeological excavations. There they found the idols of various gods and goddesses of nature, like sun, Apollo, sun was being worshipped. And in Egypt also sun was worshipped. And Jupiter, Julius Caesar was swearing on Jupiter always. All the Navagrahas were worshipped. And the Romans worshipped Navagrahas before they were forcibly converted to Christianity. Over a period of centuries, forcibly the temples were destroyed in Rome. And people were forcibly converted by Christians. The whole long process. So in the origin, I just told you in my lecture that how Judaism came and how Christianity came out of it and how Islam came later. Is all why they came like that, because of political reasons. Like this man Constantine, Roman emperor, who was a Hindu himself, he called Mithraism. Mithra means sun, worship sun. He created this religion of Christianity by declaring Jesus as the Son of God, worth worship, should be worshipped. And using that as a tool, he conquered whole Europe and created a Roman Empire. So he thought by using Christianity as a tool, he can conquer the whole Europe and become a big emperor, which he became. But after his death, the Christians took over and they created the Roman Catholic Church, which controlled whole Europe. That is Roman Catholic Church and the Pope and all these people. So they were so powerful and fierce. They ruled the whole Europe. And all people who were worshipping sun and Jupiter and others, they were all Hindus, so-called pagans, they say. They were all forced to worship Jesus, and all their original temples were destroyed and converted into churches, the cathedrals, all this was done. Now that was in Europe. So till then, Arabia was not having that form. Arabia was completely Hindu, Middle East. So in Saudi Arabia and other places, so many temples are there. Now the domination of Jews and Christians in Saudi Arabia started increasing. So much so that the Judeo-Christian theology of one God who is formless, the Unitarian Church. The Trinitarian means you have to accept Jesus as Son of God. Unitarian means no Son of God. In fact, there is one place called Al-Aqsa Masjid in Jerusalem. That is where these people say this is the place of Jesus and all that, Son of God. So these Muslims said God has no sons. So the same place is a holy place for Jews, Christians, and Muslims. That is a fight. I asked one delegation which came from, why are you fighting when you have the same God, same gurus, Abraham, Moses, all this so-called, they're all fictional, but they're gurus, common gurus. They said the fight is not about philosophy or religion, it is fight about real estate, land. So that is the fight among themselves, even today. So now coming out of that, this in the Hindus of Arabia, the pagans, they resisted the Judeo-Christian model of God, and they said we don't want to use Yahweh or Jehovah. So they used the word Allah, which was there in Arabia way before even referring to the Vedas. So that word Allah was used, and the personality of Jesus is a myth created much later to create a religion. Similarly, same logic was used for Moses. Moses is also a myth. He never existed. So, in fact, there is a historical research indicating that all the biblical personalities are mythical. They are fictitious. And they are imported directly into Quran. 90% of Quran is nothing but Bible. But dismissing the claim of Jesus as Son of God is only a prophet, a messenger, like any other messenger. And Muhammad was added as the last messenger. The word Muhammad is generic. It simply means good man, best man. So it was used for Jesus also, but these people created Quran in 9th century AD and added one new character called Muhammad as a separate person in the same line as Jesus and Moses and David and Abraham. So to uphold the Arabic Asmita, they did not use the word Yehovah. And they didn't want to become same as Jews or Christians. So they had a separate identity by doing this. And by removing the idols from the temple of Makkah. Makkah was also a temple. They had many, many idols. So the original devatas of Saudi Arabia, Allat, Al-Manat, Al-Uzza, all these are there in the museum in Riyadh. Now this man, Salman, who is the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, he's reviving them. 3 Devis. There you can make out they're same as our 3 Devis. Lakshmi, Parvati, and Saraswati, Durga and Saraswati. You can easily make out from their symbolism. So they are being revived. And it is somehow a theory was floated that those original pinned or some kind of indicators of those Devis have come to Somnath. So Manat, the word Somnath was being broken into Manat and so. That is totally wrong, but they did that. Al-Manat is there, one of the 3 goddesses. Al-Uzza is another. So they somehow got a theory that is there in Somnath, and so that fellow came and destroyed Somnath. So all kinds of things have happened, but all are political. The Qurayshi family of Makkah, in which Muhammad is supposed to have been born, they were the Caliphs. And the Abdul Malik in 9th century AD conquered Iran. When he conquered Iran, the coins in Iran were only fire worshipping. Ahura Mazda was shown and fire worship and all that. But after 70 years, they changed La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. So during that time, he repeated the technique of the Messiahhood prophethood of Moses, Jesus into this new religion. So to justify his empire formation, just like Constantine did for Christianity. So the empire was created. Okay, now ask any questions.
Yeah.
Sir,
Uh, just a minute. Okay, there's a question on the chat box. After that, you have to raise the hand before talking. Okay. Is there mention of Shiva in Rigveda? What is the role of Svetara Upanishad in the development of Shivism? What is Bhakti? What is its role in liberation? There are three questions.
Entire Sanatana Dharma course he has covered in this three questions. Very intelligent man. So you see, the word Shiva simply means Kalyana Swarupa, blissful. That is the literal meaning. Manchi. Shivam means goodness. So now the Parabrahman, Omkaram, or the ultimate supreme personality of Godhead, supreme being, he is described in many attributes. Sa Brahma, Sa Shivaha, Sa Hari, Sa Indraha, Sa Aksharaha, Paramaha, Virat. In the Mantra Pushpam also you can find that. Sa Brahma, Sa Shiva, Sa Hari, Sa Indra, Sa Akshara, Paramas, Virat. So that is the generic description. It is not a single person called Shiva. Of course, my driver's name is also Shiva. So that way, this is Rudhi. Yogic and Rudhi, two meanings are there for all words. So now, what has happened is, in the Yajurveda, there is one Rudradhyaya, where the word Shiva is used, Shankara is used, Rudra is used, and so many other words are used. Shankara means he who causes Sham, peace. And Rudra means he who is fierce, like fire. So now the impersonal being, Parabrahman, Om is impersonal, has been personified for the sake of convenience of the Upasana. So also Narayana, who is impersonal, is personified for the sake of convenience. So Saraswati, who is knowledge, is personified for ease and convenience of children, Upasana. So this is what exactly happened. And there is nothing wrong as such in it. Because that is only a temporary window. So each one is a window to the same Parabrahma, Om. So I hope you understood. So the Rudradhyaya contains Namakam Chamakam, which is used in the Rudrabhisheka. I have discussed this in my lecture on Vedas also. Now also I am telling. So the Namakam, which is in the Rudradhyaya, is explaining the universal presence of the Supreme Being in terms of Shiva. So he's there everywhere like that, and because we were there, Namas Somaya cha Rudraya cha Namas Tamraya cha Arunaya cha Ugraya cha Bhimaya. So hundreds of names, including the, Kakshaka, the carpenters and potters, Kulalaya cha Karma. And the second Chamakam is explaining in terms of prayer. What I want. Okay, that power is there, which is universal in hundreds and thousands of forms and names. What is that I want? Sham chame, I want peace first. Mayas chame, I want my desires to fulfill. Kamas chame, anukamas chame, sau manasas chame, I want a peaceful, happy mind. Sau manasas chame, vittan chame, I want money. Vittis chame, bhutan chame, bhutis chame, I want the name and fame. Sus chame, prasus chame, sus chame, prasus chame. Tushachame, Sudinanchame. Finally, I want a good day today. So this way, hundreds of desires are expressed in the second part. Chamakam. Cha means and. There is no other prayer which is bigger than this in the whole world. So if you ask somebody to pray, okay, what do you want? I want money. Say, or I want name, I want fame. Maximum he might tell 10 items. But here he told more than 100. Nobody can tell more than 100. So everything possible you want is already told there. So you may not know what you want, but they know what you want. This is about Upasana of Shiva. Now, in the Upanishads, there are about 10-15 Shaiva Upanishads, and there are some 10-15 Vaishnava Upanishads, and a few Shakta Upanishads. There is one Lakshmi Upanishad, there is one Saraswati Upanishad. So the transition from the Nirakara, Nirguna, Parabrahma, Omkaram to the individual devatas in the Puranas, because we have Shiva Purana, Vishnu Purana, in time sequence, in between these Upanishads are there. Okay, I think I have answered your question.
What is the role of bhakti in liberation?
Yeah, Buddhi, see, Buddhyalabhyastvananyaya.
Bhakti.
Bhakti, okay. So, Bhakti is Bhaktyalabhyastvananya. In the Bhagavad Gita, he has told very clearly, without Bhakti, you cannot get Daivanugraham, therefore you cannot get peace, or you cannot get your desires fulfilled, or you cannot get moksha also. So, Bhakta, a person, Bhakti is broadly two categories, Parabhakti and Aparabhakti. So, all those who go to Tirupati are not Parabhaktis. They are not like Mirabai and Tukaram and Andal and so on. They are ordinary Bhaktas whose main Bhakti is in the desire fulfillment. They are Bhaktas of their own desires. They want visa, they want job. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You should have those things, otherwise you cannot live in this world. I've asked many people who came to Tirupati many times, why did you come here? They said, no, I have this, I have that. They are making a deal with God. If I get this visa, then I'll give you this much money. And if I get this contract, I'll give you this much percentage also. They make deals with God. And they seem to be getting results because they are putting a lot of money into the hundi. The richest temple, richest god in the world is Venkateswara Swami. Even beyond our Christian Pope. And so there is a personalized relationship. Now, among that, there are 4 types of bhaktas. Artho, Jinyasur, Ardharthi, Jnani, Chavargansha. So, Artha means, we are in deep trouble. Like Gajendra Moksham, Gajendra is in Arti. So, most of the people are in Arti. Something or the other. We think that they're all doing fine, but when you go inside and talk to them, then you will find shocking problems. Everybody has problems. Even rich people have a lot of problems. Poor people anyway have problems. So they all turn to God. Sankata Kale Venkatramana. This is Arti. So now second is Ardharthi. I already told you, those who make deals, their financial relationship with God. They are also bhaktas. You cannot say they are not bhaktas. Artho Jinyasu. So another category, Jinyasu, is very curious. Most of the people, youngsters particularly, they are only curious. They don't have real bhakti, but they are curious. So they may have some bhakti. But the final is Jnani. So Jnani, Tesham Jnani Nitya Yuktaha. He is the best and he is always connected. Because without Jnana, a bhakta is only lower category. A bhakta who is having jnana is the highest. Therefore, liberation, jnana and mukti. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Amar Singh ji, try to be crisp.
Only one precise, sir. Like they say Allah, so this Allah is equivalent to God. What we worship, like
The word Allah has 2 parts in it. Al-Ilah. The word Al means the, like Atha in Sanskrit. Atha.
Atha.
Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Same Atha became distorted into the in English. The.
Okay.
And
Al-Hakim.
same Atha became distorted as Al in Arabic.
Okay.
So Al-Qaeda, Al-Jabar. Al-Jabar is the original word of algebra. Because his name is Jabar, that man's name.
Okay.
So Al-Qaeda, Al-Manat, Al-Qubel, Al-Uzza, the. So Al-Ilah. Ilah means God. Al-Ilah means the God. Allah means the God. Nothing more. It is not a single person. It is not any single entity. It is the God it means. So why the word La ilaha illallah means no God except the God it means. So what does it actually mean? My understanding or my interpretation is it simply means all gods are only one God. That is my interpretation. Because Ekam Sat Vipra Bhavbhavat. Gods are many because sun is a god, moon is a god, so many gods are there. Saraswati is a god, Lakshmi is a god, but La ilaha illallah, Allah. There is no God except the God. But that some people are interpreting in the opposite way. They are interpreting that they accept the Muslims' God, all other gods are not gods. So this is the interpretation issue. So because if you interpret this way, then there is a war. But if you interpret like I am telling, there is no war. All gods are same as one God, because one God is appearing as many gods. Eko Deva, now in the Satasvatra also, one God is appearing as many Devas. Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Nandindra Mitram Varunam Matrishvam. So humans are different, gods are. Gods means divine forces, which are there in like we have 33 koti. 33 koti means not crores, but categories. Dwadash Adityas, Ekadash Rudras, 2 Ashwins, Maruts, all if you add, it will become 33. They are the natural forces. Sun, all this. So they are all gods, but according to Advaita, there is only one behind all this, or one manifesting as all this, right? Yes or no?
Okay.
So that is my understanding. Now, when I tell this to some of the Muslim scholars, they are agreeing because they themselves don't know that. So there is a lot of nonsense that goes around in their versions and even others' versions. A lot of Hindus think that all Muslims are very bad, and all Muslims think many Muslims and Hindus are very bad. This kind of like even a lot of people think Tamilians are very bad, and Tamilians may think Hindi speakers are very bad. Like the Stalin and all, they say that Hindi itself is bad and Hindi speakers are bad. So what is this kind of nonsense? So this is all biased thinking. So because by common sense, from the old, the new comes. Oldest is Rig Veda and the Upanishads after it, and Bhagavad Gita. And after that, all these texts have come. Did they come independently? If they came independently, nothing should be common. Why there is so much of common statement? That's why I showed in the book, there is so much of commonness. See, when you copy, it will be common. And copying is not wrong. I'm not criticizing it. It is natural. Like now, Ram Rahim Singh is there in Haryana. That fellow will also tell all these things, but he is in jail. So the point is that people copy, they will do all kinds of things. Here, in this case, in the case of Christianity and Islam, all this has happened for political reasons. So these things have been established for empire creation. One side the Christian Empire, the side Arabic Empire. The Roman Empire and Arabic Empire in the name of Christian and Islam. But the purpose is empire creation, colonialism, imperialism. Okay, let us stop here. Yeah.
I think, thank you very much, Prabhu Garu. I mean, a lot of people have patiently listened to you, they have understood, and they have written comments also that a lot of insights have been understood now. Thank you.
These are all research. These are all research
Right.
outcome. Nobody will tell you.
Yeah.
No other speaker will tell you.
Right. Thank you very much, Cindy. And
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
Right. Now I close